Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a little mini training that I'm going to do here tonight, and I'm very happy and delighted to be with you tonight. So thank you for spending a couple of minutes today. I want to run through something tonight that I know will help you out on your journey. Because here's the thing, I've spent so many hours, so much time diving into what makes a great story a great story. And I'll never forget really the first time that I was speaking with my mentor, and we were reviewing a message that I had delivered, and he stopped me and he said, "Devin, that's not it." I said, "Mr. Brown, what do you mean that's not it?" I said, "That, son," he said, "that is not how you deliver a message." And I said, "What?" I thought I was the greatest public speaker and motivator ever. And when my mentor said, "Son, that's not how you deliver a message," I took offense to it. But what he taught me was very, very powerful. And I'll start off what we're going to talk about today with this. He said, "Son, you never tell a story without a point, and you never tell a point without a story." He said, "Son, you had a lot of great points in there, but you didn't have any stories." He said, "When you do not use stories in your presentation and sharing your message, nobody will listen." So then I went on a hunt of, okay, I want to master the art of storytelling. And then what I've been able to do is I have people come on these lives with me and I share their story for them as if I was them. And people often say, "How do you do that?" And it's very simple. I have a framework that I follow. It is what I call my ultimate storytelling formula. It's comprised of what I call the 7 C's, because each step in the formula starts with the letter C. But I want to just spend about the next 5-ish minutes talking with you about the first C, which is a relatable main character. A relatable main character. See, every story that you share must have a relatable main character. Now, what does that imply? Well, the implication is that in order for you to be relatable, you must first have an audience to be relatable to. But how do you know how to relate to the audience? Well, the first step in any presentation and any business is knowing your audience, is really being able to speak to that audience, to know their pains, to know what they want, to know what keeps them up at night, to know what makes them want to cry in their pillow, to know what they're doing, to know what they're thinking, to know how they're feeling. And this is the process of what we call audience intelligence. See, it's what we call conducting AI. It is not artificial intelligence. It is audience intelligence. And audience intelligence is simply the process of getting to know your audience better than they know themselves. So that now when they hear you speak, it resonates, it relates, it connects. So the first step before anything is to get super clear on your audience so that now when you open your mouth, it doesn't fall on deaf ears. So once you know your audience and you know what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what they're doing, what they're, etc. The second step is, to identify their relatable main character. Now here's the thing, when you're sharing your stories and they're about you and your personal life, the main character is going to be you. Now here's the thing, you might be saying, "Devin, how am I going to be relatable to an audience if my stories are about me? If my stories are not about them?" Because, Devin, not everybody's been through what I've been through. Now here's the thing. The stories that you share are unique to you, but the lessons that the lessons that you share, or the lessons that you teach, or the lessons that they taught you must be universal. I'm going to say that again. The stories and experiences that you had are unique to you, but the lessons they teach are universal to all. That's one of the principles of storytelling. So you can take an experience of something super unique that you've been through, but then how do you turn that unique experience into a lesson that everybody in your audience can relate to? Now here's the thing. If you're speaking to an audience of dentists, you're not going to share the same thing as if you're speaking to an audience of gang members, for example, right? You're not going to share the same thing because they're not going to really resonate with the same material. So your job is to pinpoint stories in your message or throughout your life that your audience will be able to relate to. Now here's the thing. If you're talking to an audience about one thing and you have an experience that relates to them, share it. But don't feel like you have to have a story that the people in your audience have also gone through, because you don't. But the one thing or the two things that I guarantee you, every single story that you share, you can do this. See, what most people do not do, and if they did this, this is what I did, changed the game for me at least. I don't know about everybody else. You can do what you want. I started to share my internal conversations. So when I started sharing my story, and I would say, and Les Brown gave me the opportunity to invest in his coaching program, I had thoughts like, I don't know if I can do this. Am I really that? I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't have the money. What if it doesn't work out? And then I'll ask a question. Who here has ever felt like they wanted to invest in something, but they didn't really have the money to do it? And they're like, yep, okay, that was me. Now we're enrolling the audience in our presentation. So I'm sharing my internal dialogue. Why? Why do I share? Oh man, and I sat there and I thought, or I sat there and I said to myself, I really want to do it, but I can't. Why am I sharing that? Because the audience has also had an experience in their life, inevitably, because we have a common human experience, that they've also said something like that. So now I'm connecting with the audience on a subconscious level, because they're saying to themselves subconsciously, this guy or this girl is just like me. Subconscious work. That's how we make ourselves relatable. Every story we share is going to be unique to us, but the lessons that they teach are universal to all. Now here's the other thing. A relatable main character that has a goal. Notice what I said, a relatable main character that has a goal. Any great story has a character that is chasing a goal. Every single story, every Netflix show, every book, every movie, every song, there is a goal. So what we do is when we are starting our story, we have to let the audience know the goal. Because if the audience doesn't know the goal, there's no reason for them to pay attention. So what we have to do is we have to set the context for the audience. Where are we? What are we doing? What are we going after? What's happening? So many people, when they share a story, they just blabber on and the audience is lost. And this is what I did. Okay, I'm speaking for I don't know about her. I'm speaking about me. I would just blabber on, but I didn't understand that the audience cares about a goal. See, here's the thing. The audience wants something to root for, and the audience wants something to root against. In other words, the audience wants a hero, which is you, or the relatable main character, and a villain. The villain we'll talk about another day. But you need to give the audience a reason to root for you, that you're going towards something. Now, you might be saying, Devin, but my audience never set a similar goal to me. How can they relate to me? This is how you make an audience relate to you. And when I was 13, I had the goal that I wanted to get perfect grades in school. And I was a teenager, and that was all that was available to me was school, and I really wanted to do well. How many of you have ever been in the position in your teenage years where you really wanted to do something because it would make you feel really good about you? Oh, yeah, I've been there. So now the audience, although they might not have had the same goal, we all have the same common universal experience. And I ask those questions. How many of you have ever been a teenager and you set a goal because you knew it would make you feel good about you? I don't ask that to actually get an answer. I ask that because I know the answer already, but I know that once you say yes, you're going to connect with me. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay, so with that being said, that is a relatable main character that has a goal. You start with the audience and conduct audience intelligence. Number two, after you conduct audience intelligence, you begin to reflect back on your life and say, what are some stories or experiences that I've had in my life that this audience might relate to? If you can't find that story, that's okay. What you need to understand is that every audience needs something from you. So what does the audience need? What do they need to hear? See, don't allow what you want to say get in the way of what they need to hear. Sometimes what you want to say isn't the thing that they need to hear. So once you get clear on what they need to hear, all you have to simply do is find a story that shares a lesson that answers their need, that gives them what they need. And how do you do that? Once you do that, you have to make yourself relatable. How do we do that again? Well, we ask those connecting questions. We share our internal dialogue. We share the way that we talked to ourselves. Why? Because we're reflecting back to the audience the internal conversations that they are currently having. So now they say, wow, this guy or girl really understands me and what I'm going through. So, hey, listen, we've been on here for 10 minutes. I just wanted to come on for a little bit and say thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate you all so much, and I look forward to speaking